3 people are dead after police say a man killed his own father and uncle in the down east town of Lemoyne.
That suspect was then eventually killed by a state trooper. Our Steve Roldan has more details on this fatal shooting.
Well, as you can see, investigators are still here at the scene of this morning's double murder here in the town of Lemoyne. What we do know is that 2 men were found dead this morning, allegedly at the hands of another man who led police on an all-out manhunt this morning. That suspect was eventually killed by police. Maine State Police believe it's this man, 27-year-old Leon Tilden, who killed his father and uncle at this home off of Bob O'Link Road in Lemoyne. The bodies of 50-year-old Robert Tilden and 50-year-old Randall Pinkham were found at around 3:30 this morning. Law enforcement officials began the manhunt for Leon Tilden, which eventually led to the lockdown of the Lemoyne Consolidated School.
Because the exact whereabouts of Leon Tilden were unknown, we had strong concern for public safety. We thought it prudent to have officers respond to the school area just in the unlikely event he should have gone that far away from the scene. So public safety was a primary concern.
After an all-out search, Maine State Police say Tilden was located in the area armed with a weapon. He was eventually shot by a detective with the Maine State Police after a brief standoff. And this morning's murders have shaken the small town here in Hancock County.
I just heard this morning that I couldn't bring my daughter to daycare, and I stayed home today, watched Kenzie, and now I can bring her to daycare, so I'm taking her. I've never heard of it since I've been here, and I've lived down here 7 years.
Lots of things bizarre seem to be happening, so.
We're thankful that the public is safe, the officers involved are safe, and our hearts go out to the surviving members of this family.
Now, we are told the investigation is being handled by the Attorney General's office in Augusta, and as of right now, a motive has not been released in this case. That's the latest here in the town of Lemoyne. Steve Roldan, News 13.
Well, the Maine State Police detective who shot and killed Tilden is on administrative leave while the Attorney General's office investigates.
An Old Orchard Beach woman is dead following a fire at her home on Wesley Avenue in that town. That's
right. Investigators with the State Fire Marshal's office remain on the scene, and that's where we find our Marissa Bodnar joins us now live with the details. Marissa?
Well, besides one broken window, there's really no visible sign of a fire here, but investigators say inside is a much different story. They say a first-floor bedroom is badly damaged. They say that's also where they found the body of 62-year-old Patricia Noel. A neighbor across the street tells us she reported the fire at 44 Wesley Avenue when she heard alarms and saw smoke. She says within 20 minutes she saw the blinds on the windows literally melting away. Fire marshals investigators say they don't know how the fire started, but they do know where. It was in the first floor bedroom, which Old Orchard Beach Fire Chief says was fully engulfed when crews arrived. The chief says narrow streets and houses close together made efforts more difficult, but they were able to contain the flames to just the one bedroom and get it knocked down quickly. Neighbors say Noel was a nice lady, making this outcome very difficult to digest.
Our other neighbor Ray told us, and I broke down. I'm gonna really miss her. I can't imagine this neighborhood without her.
The fire marshal's office says Noel lived here with her son and grandson. They say neither was home at the time when this happened. As investigators work to determine how the fire started, they say her body is with the medical examiner to determine exactly how she died. Live in Old Orchard Beach, Marissa Bodnar, News 13, back to you.
Thank you, Marissa.
Well, the Augusta man accused of assaulting a 4-year-old girl pleads no contest in a Kennebec County courtroom.
Police say Brent LaValle was supposed to be caring for the little girl when he allegedly left her with a black eye and marks on her neck. A judge sentenced him to 6 months in jail in connection to this charge, as well as a bail violation.
Yeah, he was initially arrested after the girl's grandfather noticed the injuries and alerted police.
An update on the search for missing UNH student Lizzie Marriott. Searches continuing today for her body as her accused killer remains behind bars. The searchers were back on Pierce Island along the Piscataqua River in Portsmouth looking for the 19-year-old. She's been missing now since October 9th. Marriott is presumed dead. 29-year-old Seth Mazzalia is charged with her murder. A popular waterfront restaurant, once featured on the Food Network, will close up shop.
Yeah, this comes just a day after the owner of the Comedy Connection next door announced the club is also done. News 13's Adrian Stein joins us live in the studio with those details. Adrian?
Well, the Porthole is a landmark restaurant in the Old Port, a popular spot to eat, drink, and unwind. But now, according to the building's landlord, the Porthole is closed for good. News of the closure comes just a day after the owner of both the Porthole and Comedy Connection said the comedy club would close. Oliver Keithley has not confirmed the Porthole closure. The health department, you may remember, shut down the Comedy Connection, the Porthole, and Harbor's Edge Banquet Hall for a couple of days over the summer after a rat infestation. The three businesses shared a kitchen. Keithley says the closure of the Comedy Connection isn't a direct result of that, but rather all the work it would take to get a new liquor license and get the building up to code. Comedians like Bob Marley are sad to see the Portland fixture go.
Well, I really give thanks to Oliver Keithley, the owner, because he really had confidence in me more so than anybody else. He would look at me and say, "I think you can do it. You can do it." I mean, I had done shows all over the state before that in bars where you're in the corner and there's a painter's light like shining from the side, and and there's people going, "Shut up," and I'm like, "Love you too."
Well, Marley says the audience at the Comedy Connection was always so gracious to him and allowed him to work on his material instead of booing him off the stage. Again, so now both the Comedy Connection and, according to the building's landlord, the Porthole restaurant are closed for good. Reporting live in the studio, Adrienne Stein, News 13.
Thank you, Adrian. Well, the election is just 2 weeks from today, and towns and cities across Maine are preparing for possible record voter turnout this year.
Yeah, so we've got some tips to make sure you are ready to vote. News 13's Jana Barnello joins us live from Portland City Hall with what you need to know before Election Day. Jana?
Kim, Jeff, to give you a little perspective on voter turnout, by this time in the 2008 presidential election cycle, 5,000 people in Portland had cast an absentee ballot. This year, to put that in perspective, over 7,000 people in Portland have already cast an absentee ballot, and you can too. You can go to your town or city hall and vote by absentee ballot in person until November 1st. This is for people who are registered voters, and even folks who haven't registered yet. You can register to vote in person and then cast your absentee ballot. Now, if you're going to vote on Election Day and you're registered, just show up at your appropriate polling location and get to voting. You won't need to show an ID, but if you're not registered and you want to vote on Election Day, you need to come prepared.
So on Election Day, if you are not registered to vote, you can register there. We have deputy registrars that will be working at the polling places, and you'd still need to bring proof of ID and proof of residency.
And that basically means a valid Maine driver's license or a photo ID plus a utility bill or a pay stub, something that has your address on it. Again, you can register to vote all the way through Election Day in person. There's no cutoff for registering, but there is a cutoff for absentee voting in person. That cutoff is November 1st. After that, you'll have to have a valid excuse and explain that to your local polling place to vote by absentee, or just head to the polls on November 6th, Election Day, 2 weeks from today. Live in Portland, I'm Jana Barnello, News 13. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Jana.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with Charlie DePresti.
Well, welcome back, everyone. It was another delightful day here in Vacation Land. High temps, low 60s. Tomorrow, a very similar day. If anything, temps will be a little bit cooler. And speaking of cool, we're heading for a chilly night. Let's take a look at your 3-day forecast. We'll start tomorrow with temps in the 30s, afternoon highs upper 50s, clouds to developing sun on Thursday. If you're looking for a warm-up, Friday's your day. Mid-60s for highs. Friday looks to be the warmest day of the next several. Hey, it wasn't a beach day, but it was a pretty nice day. This is our Old Orchard Beach Pier Cam. Okay, looks like we lost that towards the end there, but hey, it was a nice day. Just take my word for it there. There is a disturbance to our south. There's actually a little frontal boundary. There's a stalled warm front to our south, so it's actually a stationary front right now. We're seeing a few high-thin clouds during the course of the day today. This front is going to stay to our south, so you see all the shower activity down in New York, western Massachusetts, and Connecticut. That is going to stay to our south as well. That front stationary boundary is just the boundary between the seasonable air mass in place and the warmer temps locked up to our south. Eventually, some of this milder air will try to make a run at us, and the time frame for that will be on Friday. So late in the week, temps return into the 60s. In the near term, that front stays to our south tonight, so tomorrow morning will be a chilly morning with clear skies and light winds. Temps will start in the mid-30s at the coast, lower 30s for many inland towns. Notice a few clouds starting to try to make some headway up into our neck of the woods, but not until late late tomorrow, more so tomorrow night. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're seeing a fair amount of sun, high temps, mid to upper 50s. Again, Wednesday looks to be another very nice day. More clouds tomorrow night, or skies becoming at least partly cloudy. Overnight lows will again dip into the 30s, and this broken record continues. Sunshine returns on Thursday, high temps mid to upper 50s. Okay, that's the near term. That's the next couple of days. In fact, our nice stretch of weather extends into Saturday. After that, all eyes will be on this guy down here, this girl, I should say. This is Tropical Storm Sandy with sustained winds of about 50 miles per hour. A minimal tropical storm. Hurricane watches have been issued for Jamaica. This storm is still thousands of miles away, but the reason I put so much emphasis on this storm, it may play a role in our forecast early next week, and the time frame I'm talking about will be Monday and Tuesday. Now, there's some forecast model guidance suggesting that this storm is going to track out to sea in a fashion like that, passing east of us. That wouldn't be a problem at all early next week, but there's other reliable forecast model guidance, information indicating the storm is going to pass to the north here and eventually sort of back in on us, providing a sizable rain and windstorm around here, and the time frame for that will be Monday into Tuesday. And if that were to happen, it probably wouldn't be purely tropical, being a tropical storm or a hurricane. It would be what we call extratropical. It would be losing its tropical characteristics, which would allow the wind field to expand, and it wouldn't be a great scenario. It has the potential to be a huge storm system around here. Here's what we do know at this point. I don't want to get anyone too excited about it at this point because we're still a week away, and there is the potential it could move completely out to sea. In fact, the Hurricane Center is taking that track with a storm moving out to sea early next week. But these are some of the computer models' projected paths. Notice each one of those lines, a different computer model. A few of those snake them right up here into northern New England. So stay tuned to the forecast. Next week we could have a storm on our hands. In the near term tonight, lows will be in the 30s. It's a chilly night with clear skies. Tomorrow, upper 50s, mostly sunny. Winds out of the north around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Hey, the forecast looks quiet and pleasant, a nice fall stretch. If anything, it's a little bit warmer late week. Mid 60s return on Friday, low 60s on Saturday. Those will be the 2 warmest days of the next several days. Your inland forecast, you will even be warmer during that period. And we will continue to monitor the situation early next week. I think showers will arrive on Sunday regardless with the passage of a front. But Monday into Tuesday, we could be talking about a more sizable system with potential for wind and rain. So we'll keep you updated there.
Interesting.
It sure is interesting. I'll tell you what. It's been a while since we've had at least a storm of this magnitude to watch over the next several days.
Yeah, in the meantime, enjoy the nice weather we have right now.
Yes, it looks great, doesn't it?
It does. Terrific. Thank you, Charlie.